Hey y'all, I'm back here with another review. So I apologize I did not get to do the review sooner. I had a family emergency, but whatever. I'm here. I'm gonna keep reviewing the show. Don't worry about it. I'm here. All right. So we are here with P Valley season 1, episode 4. I think it's called Trap. Alrighty, so we start off similar to how we did last episode. You got a man, he's kind of all up in Mississippi's ear, kind of the same way the coach was all up in Mercedes' ear last week, trying to tell her, oh, you can do better. But the difference is he wasn't trying to tell, it didn't seem like he was trying to say, oh, I want you to come and stay with me. He was just saying, like, oh, you don't have to do this. And again, it touches on, like, and you know what, Autumn said this later on in the episode about Andre, but it's funny that she said it because I literally have in my notes Captain Save-A-Hole. I told y'all about last episode when the man came in there trying to do it to Mercedes. It is something really wrong with men who feel the need to walk into a strip club and then still sit up there and be like, oh, you don't have to do this. Oh, you don't have to do this. Like Mercedes said, you're here for a reason. Let's cut the shit. You're in here for a reason. Stop trying to act like you're holier than thou. And at the end of the day, these women are here because they're trying to save themselves. They don't need your help. And it's so annoying. Like I said, Drake is my fave. But he used to be Captain Save-A-Hole. And even he said, like I said, in Money in the Grave, he used to try to save hoes with a cape, mask and a cape, whatever. But he don't do that no more. Good. Leave these girls alone. If they want to dance, they want to dance. Chill. But and mind you, while this man was saying all of this, Mercedes had came over, and it's pretty much like, bruh, pay her or like leave, because you're not gonna sit up here and be wasting time. And so he pretty much took like a little stack, itty bitty stack, clearly, and threw it on the floor. And so she picked it up. She said, no, you're going to hand it to her. Exactly. That's the thing. So my whole thing is, you trying to come up here, right, and try to tell her how she's so much better than this, that, and third, but then you still throw money on the ground. So what are you really saying about her? Do you think that she's worthy of more or not? Because the point of the matter is, if you really felt everything that you were saying about her, you would have handed her the money, or your black ass wouldn't even be in this club in the first fucking place. Okay? But anyway, so he's like, I'm not gonna fucking do that. So Diamond with his fine ass come over and tell him, you gonna hand the money to the lady. He said he wasn't gonna do it. He choked that nigga up. It was so like sexy but abrasive at the same time. Oh my gosh, it was everything. Choked that nigga up, and he handed her the money and walked away or whatever. And Mercedes was pretty much telling Mississippi, like, don't let these niggas get you down. And Mississippi was pretty much saying, like, well, like, like, what if what he's saying is true? Like, pretty much this whole episode is pretty much Mississippi kind of weighing around in her head, what her worth is, and her worth tied to this club, and pretty much just what is it that she can do with herself. So she was it kind of fucked her up a little bit. So yeah, so pretty much she's starting to feel a little bit away about dancing. So anyway, so we see Autumn's at her apartment, and now you can see her dumping all the alcohol out into the tub. Now I'm thinking, okay, girl, that's right, clean up your act. But no, she was cleaning her money that she got, because she was able to go and get the $9,000 that she did to Lakeisha Savage. So that's what she did. Alrighty, so then I have Didi Foel, because this whole storyline really gives me like Dancing Dolls tease. But anyway, so we have Mercedes, like I said, she's at the place that's supposed to be her gym, and there's some black woman, I guess it's the realtor, whatever. And the thing I didn't like about this is the fact that the woman was just so against, like, she wasn't believing anything that Mercedes was saying. Okay, this is what I find real funny. I'm not even from the South, right? And I know how big Majorette is down there, and how that is really a big thing down there. People literally get full scholarships to be Majorette. So I just found it really weird that the woman didn't get it. When she told her what she was doing, she was like, oh, you selling stuff? She said, no, it's Majorette. It's dancing and this, that, and the third. And she was like, that's what you're doing? Yes, that's what she's doing. And it makes sense in the South. Now, granted, if she's up here up in the North and talking about some Majorette, I would be kind of looking at her funny. But she's in the South. That's what they do. It was just very confusing to me that I don't understand how you're a realtor in the South, and you're supposed to be from the South, and you don't understand that Majorette is a big thing. That kind of threw me off. But anyway, outside of that, you know, she pretty much told her, you know, if you want to do this, you got to up how much it is that you're charging people. And I don't know, maybe this was coming from the fact that she actually seen the girl financial, so maybe in her head it wasn't making sense business wise. But anyway, she pretty much told her that she needed 20,000 by tomorrow midnight because there was a lot of people coming through trying to snatch up the properties. In my opinion, I feel like there probably was people trying to snatch up the realtors, but I just feel like she didn't like what it was that she was selling and she didn't believe in her idea. So she was like, okay, girl, you really want to give me the money. That's how I took it personally. So, yeah. So then, you know, the mama, you see the mama, she's pulling up to the little bank or whatever, and she gets the $20,000 and some change out. You know, some little itty bitty like feather or something falls on her, and she's in the car singing, sounding like a cat outside in fucking rain, okay? Then we switch over and we have the white girl's name is Gidget. Now I got it together. Gidget, we're only episode 4, so it's going to take me some time to get everybody's names. But anyway, so Gidget is pretty much trying to teach Autumn, you know, how to work the pole, because remember, the three-way before was Mercedes, Gidget, and Mississippi, like we seen last week. So with this upcoming thing, like the last couple days, you know, it's coming up on Mercedes' last dance. They need somebody, you know, that's going to be able to kind of pretty much like replace Mercedes. They need a different, you know, trio. So Gidget is, you know, Autumn is terrible on the pole. She's fucking terrible. And Gidget is telling her, like, you know, it's not about upper body strength. It's about trust and being one with the pole. I would love how to learn how to, like, work a pole. Child, listen, you won't be able to tell me shit, okay? So then Uncle Clifford comes out and, you know, because Mississippi had came in, you know, and they was about to go to the store. Uncle Clifford comes out and he said, September, October, come in the office real fast. I died. Why is it that he almost never calls Autumn by her name, or most people by their name, and it cracks me the fuck up. So he brings her in there, you know, and what are they talking about? They're just pretty much talking about, like, you know, the plans and stuff and what Andre had told him. And she's pretty much saying, look, you need to go back and try to fuck around with Andre again to try to figure out what else it is that we can do. And so also I put here, right here, this episode I feel like is the most that Autumn has ever talked, because Autumn doesn't really talk like that. She's kind of like one of the main centers, like main focus of the show, but she really doesn't have a lot of like speaking roles. But anyway, so then we go over and we see Andre, the mayor, and I guess his assistant, and they're talking to some white guy over the little laptop, and they're talking about the deal and stuff like that. And Andre is honest and tells him, look, well, we got everything together except the pink. And now when he says that, you could see the mayor kind of look at him like, why the fuck would you say that? But he's like, look, I think, he said, you know, they might be foreclosing soon, but I think it's best if we just go ahead and offer him something. And I'm not gonna lie, the white guy made a good point. Like, why would we offer them anything if you just said that their shit's about to get foreclosed on? We might as well just wait till it go up for auction and get it that way. Business-wise, yes, that makes sense. Community-wise, that's fucked up. You should just pay that man out if you want to come through and rip up all this shit. So after they get off the phone, because pretty much the guy was like, look, I need y'all to hurry up and get the deal with the brothers that needs to be signed, and then this needs to be done. The mayor jumps in pretty much and says that, you know, he'll get it done within the next 2 weeks. So once they get off the phone with him, you know, the mayor's like, you should have never said anything about that. And Andre's being real. He was like, you have to be real with the investors that you have. You have to tell them the stuff that's going to possibly come up. And the reason I find this very interesting is because I'm like just now getting into real estate and stuff like that. And so a lot of this stuff makes sense to me, you know, like business wise. And I mean, even common sense wise, it makes sense. But I just find it really interesting. But anyway, so yeah, so he said that, and, you know, pretty much the whole thing is get this shit done. Close this deal with the pink and close the deal with the brothers now. I don't give a fuck how you get it done, but get it done. Okay, so then we have, we see Mercedes real fast at her house, and she's calling her mama. She's been calling her mama back to back because she pretty much, again, she needs this money, but her mama's not picking up. And she tried to call her child. The funny part about her trying to call her daughter is the mama, well, the adopted mama left the message, like, for her voicemail pretty much that, like, if you try to reach her, you can't, because she on punishment, and she going to be on punishment. I don't know if she said for 3 weeks or 3 months, and you hear in the back, oh my gosh, you're doing the most. That's some shit I would do to my kid, because I'm embarrassing like that. I don't give a fuck. Okay? So then next, we got the mama at the church. Okay, now if y'all remember last week, you know, or the past couple episodes, the preacher been telling her, oh, you know, you can be on a pulpit and this, like that, and the third, but then it was time to pick somebody, they said no to her. So she's up there singing, and you ever, like, if y'all, especially if you've been to like a Baptist church or black church in general. You know, when people are singing and stuff like that, a lot of times people will go way off because their singing will literally turn into preaching. It'll turn into a testimony. It'll turn into a whole sermon. That's pretty much what she did. She was singing and then she kind of turned it on to, you know, a whole full sermon. And he was trying to snatch the mic from her and she just kept dipping and dodging. I mean, they was feeling it in the church. But it was just funny how he kept trying to like take the mic from her. And then eventually he takes her and goes into the back because everybody was feeling the spirit. And, you know, he was just like, girl, like, what are you doing? You got me messed up. Like, I told you I want you on the pulpit. You're a woman. And, you know, she was like, well, your congregation seems to like it. So, you know, mama and the pastor is kind of at odds right now, right? So, so we also see Mercedes. She's this is like pretty much like, this is like, I think right before her last night. Mercedes gets a necklace from, I believe it was like the coach, and it has like her name, you know, going across it. So now this whole part I found very interesting. So we got the girls there back, you know, and pretty much when Uncle Clifford comes in, because Gidget in Mississippi earlier was talking about how they had heard something, you know, about what was going on with the casino and stuff like that, but they didn't really bring it up. So whenever, you know, all of the girls was back there in Mississippi, and Gidget kind of talk about it again, but they talk about it out loud in front of all of the girls about what's going on. So Uncle Clifford comes out and he's like, well, where did you hear all of that? Like, you know, about the casino and stuff. He's like, oh, well, I heard you in the room with such and such. And he's like, oh, okay, all right, little bitch, can't hold water. That's why you named Mississippi. I said, facts. Mississippi, you ain't have to do that. And then Mercedes comes in, and Mercedes comes in mid-conversation. So Uncle Clifford wasn't trying to admit everything that was going on. He was just kind of like, oh, they're blowing it out of proportion, da-da-da-da. But Mercedes didn't hear that part. So when she walks in, she's like, bruh, it'll be fine. He just got a little bit behind. So then everybody's like, what, bitch, wait, so you knew, and nigga, you behind, so you lying? So this whole part I felt interesting is because, okay, so you got the girls. Gidget in Mississippi is pretty much now mad at Mercedes because they're like, how the fuck is it that you knew and you didn't say anything? I get it from that point. However, I feel like from that point forward, everything Mercedes said was true. And I did not understand why Gidget in Mississippi was upset, because this is what Mercedes said. Mercedes said pretty much, number one, you hoes don't stack y'all money. You don't stack your money, okay? Because and then Mississippi like, well, you only have a dog to take care of versus a child. And she's like, that's fine, but I see the stuff that y'all spend y'all money on. I see that y'all spend it on bags and all this other shit. For 7 years, I stacked my money, and that's what y'all should have been doing. That is true. That is true. And they tried to say, oh, well, you got your head, oh, like, you know, you're trying to be, you know, like an asshole, and you got your head stuck up your ass, da 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 da. And she said to her, look, I don't know what your mom told you, but I'm pretty sure your mama told you can't do this forever. And it's a fact. And then Gidget got upset and ran out, and Mississippi was like, that was too low of a blow. Now, I don't know if that has to do with the fact that maybe her mom used to be a stripper, or her mom, you know, something like that. If that's the case, I understand it. But everything that Mercedes said is facts. You cannot strip forever. Your looks, unfortunately, will slowly but surely fade. You don't want to be 40-something in the club still hitting the pole. Not unless that's what you want to do. Okay, not unless that's what you truly want to do. But even after a while, that's going to become played out. You're not going to make a lot of money. So what Mercedes said is true. If I was a stripper, I always said that if I was a stripper, the main thing I would be doing is stacking my money. I would be stacking my money so that I could invest into something I truly want to do that's going to last long term. And that's what Mercedes was trying to do with this dance team. And when she said that she was going to dance here, everybody was like, oh, so that's what you're doing. And come to find out, I kind of get it a little bit later, like, it's an ego thing. It's not an ego thing. It's a self-esteem type of thing, pretty much, that comes with that. So I just found that whole thing interesting because I was like, Mercedes, you ain't tell one lie. I don't know why them hoes is mad, but you ain't tell not one motherfucking lie, okay? So then we got Andre. He's getting out his car. Autumn kind of runs up and tries to apologize, and he's like, oh no, you know, you tried to get me over, and they go back and forth, and you're a bitch ass nigga, and you're a hoe, and you're this and you're that, and why don't you fucking go take care of your kids instead of being out here trying to be a thought and da 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 da. My whole thing is, all right, whatever. First of all, everything that Andre said to me was like invalid and is all of the typical things that you can say. That's why when he was like, you're just and I was like, what you want to say? A stripper, because you don't have nothing else to say that's negative about the girl. All you want to say is you're a stripper. But it blows my mind that y'all love love to defame women for the same shit you was just in the club for. Just like she said, you're full of shit, and at the end of the day, you a save a whole type of nigga, because just like that first guy that I talked about when we started this, he was in the club trying to act like, oh, I'm here to save you. No, cut the shit. You out here. I forgot who said this, but it's so true. I hate, like, but besides niggas who are just like bad, I hate when there's a guy who thinks he's a good guy, but he's really not. Like, he swears up and down that he's really just a good guy, but at the end of the day, you're really not. You're really trash, just like everybody else, Andre. You are a whole married man, and you're sitting up in this girl's face telling her she's anything. Who gives a fuck? You're a married man cheating with a stripper, if you want to take it there. Because let's flip it. If I was your wife, if you want to talk about a stripper and that being so bad, you cheated on me with a stripper. You bitch ass nigga, piss me off. Like, don't you, I would have smacked the fuck out of Andre. How dare you? Don't you ever come at me like that. But anyway, I guess once he said something about her kids, that kind of triggered her. So you know how people like, oh, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. And then he hugged her and whatever. They went into the room together, I guess, and she woke up the next morning. And, she admitted to him, the fact that she has a child, but, she doesn't know what her child is, or the child is gone, or some shit like that. So, she gets up, leaves out, or whatever. And then, you see her going from bank to bank to bank, and she's transferring all of this money. It's about like $9,000 a pop. And every time she goes to somewhere else, she has a different wig on, because pretty much what it seems like to me she's doing is she's trying to get all her money. But of course, you can't. You got to kind of bounce around. You can't do it all in one spot. It kind of sort of, this is the best way to explain it. Like, if y'all ever seen The Wire, when we got to the season where we had the burner cell phones, and they were saying they were sending the guy on out of town trips so he can go and pick up the burners, but it wasn't all from a different store. Like, you got to get 5 here, 5 here, 5 there. And the minute that he didn't do it because of his complaining ghetto ass girlfriend, and she was like, you could just go get it in one stop. I don't understand why we gotta go place to place. And he did it. That's when they ass got caught. So it was kind of similar to that. All right. So yeah. So then we have let's see. So we got Mercedes' last dance. So it's the night of. So she comes in, and when she first comes in, everybody got a fucking attitude, which I was confused too, because I'm like, bitch, calm down. But she opens up her locker, and it has like a whole bunch of pictures of her and the girls throughout the years, and bitch, we gonna miss you, da da da. So she turns around, and it's all of the girls there, and they got her this nice floss, whatever. You can see her getting ready, look a bomb as fuck. That red hair. Let me tell you something. Brown girls, us brown girls in red and burgundy hair, we are not to be fucked with. Red and burgundy on our skin tone, it's not to be fucked with. I'm serious. It's a whole different level of like magic, okay? But anyway, so she comes out, like I said, her floss was nice as hell. It was like this black diamond, somewhat like encrusted. It was super nice. She looked bomb as hell. And so then, before she goes out, Sippy's kind of like behind her, sitting down, and she pretty much is saying how she is you can tell she's very worried about the pink closing down, because like in her head, she's like, what am I gonna do past this? And Mercedes is like, girl, don't worry, you're gonna find something. She's like, I'm not like you. I'm not confident enough. I'm not like you where I don't care about people's opinions. Like, all I am is pretty. And that makes me so sad. I'm going to tell you a really quick story before I jump back into this, but I had someone that I worked with when I worked at a grocery store. And this woman, I was like in college, and this woman had to be like 29 or 30, and she had maybe like a 1 or a 2-year-old. And I don't remember how we got on a conversation, but she literally out my mouth told me that this was all that in her brain, there was nothing else that she could do. She wasn't smart enough to do this. She wasn't smart enough to do that. So all she really could do is be a cashier, so that she was going to be the best cashier that she can be. And to a degree, like, I admire that, if you're going to do the job, do it to its, fullest capability. And everybody is not going to be on the same level of everybody, but it makes me sad when people do not see their own potential, when people like they don't see their own potential within themselves, that they limit themselves so much just due to like their perception of what it is they can and cannot do. That made me really sad. Mississippi, I'm positive you have to be more than just a pretty girl, because you have literally survived in this shit, and your bitch ass relationship with your with your bitch ass baby daddy, you are clearly more than just a pretty face girl. That really that hurt my heart. And I feel like that's probably how a lot of girls feel, and not just in that world but in general. A lot of people feel like, what else could I do if I'm not doing what I'm doing? Whew, that just hit me in a different way, y'all. I'm so sorry. So Mercedes comes out and she kind of looking around, people throwing money at her while she just walking. Yeah. And one thing I would like to know, how does it work as far as money being thrown on the floor? Like when you're just out and about, like you see how people was throwing money at Mercedes as she was just walking. Is that like a different cleanup? Is that a cleanup where like if it's on the floor, it's all cleaned up and then split up amongst the girls? I would like to know about that. Anyway, so then she sees out the corner her fine ass neighbor, the one that was across the street from her, fine ass, and she go over to him and she's like, oh, you here? And he pretty much said that he got his ankle bracelet on somebody else at his crib, so that's why he out. And so then you got Lil Murder, right? Now before this Lil Murder comes in or whatever, he's trying to get in, and Diamond told him, nigga, take your ass to the back of the line, but Uncle Clifford's like, no, you can come in, you're good. And so when he comes in, he tries to give the DJ, the little ass boy, his song to play again. And he's like, bruh, I'm not playing that shit. This is Mercedes' last dance. If I fuck up her shit, she gonna fuck me up. Like, I'm not doing that. He's like, bruh, play it, play it, play it, play it, play it. So anyway, so he comes over. So I thought I'm pretty sure he was coming over to ask Mercedes if she wouldn't mind dancing. But as soon as he walked over there, like, I didn't know that the neighbor was that real. He got so aggressive so fucking fast. It was very like, it was a little shocking to me. I mean, granted, I understand that you supposed to be that nigga, but the aggressiveness was just too much, and it made me feel bad as fuck. Like, I really felt bad for Lil Murder, because he was like, I literally just came over, to say, like, how she was doing, told her thank you, da-da-da-da, and they're like, get your bitch ass out of here, da-da-da, y'all need to understand. That made me really sad. I felt so bad for him, because he really seems like, in all reality, outside of him trying to front and perpetrate, he really seems like a good guy, like, and that really hurt my feelings that, oh no, I felt so bad for him. So anyway, oh, sorry, y'all. That was a fly. So anyway, so then Mercedes goes back into the office where Uncle Clifford and the guy, I don't know what his name is still, but the other guy who be back there with him. And, she came back there, took a picture. He's all cool. And Uncle Clifford is not really saying nothing to her. So he was like, so she came and she said, like, she lowered her voice. She was like, do you need me to stay? Because you could tell he was just super, super worried. And he was like, turn around. And she turned around and he was like, nah, walk your ass out. Like, that's how I want to remember you. Like, and you could tell that really hurt her feelings. I could tell it's like hurt feelings on both ends. Uncle Clifford is hurt because he's going to miss her, but he's mad at her. He's mad at her because that's his cash cow. But at the same time, he's kind of sad because he's going to miss her. Some people, they don't know how to really show their emotions. So I think that's just how it kind of came out. But that was really sad, like the way that kind of just, went. But anyway, so she came out or whatever and, started getting her shit together. So then she gets a call pretty much from her mama, because you see her mama pull up somewhere. And she's like, okay, mama, don't worry. I'm coming to get the money right now. So while she's getting her stuff to hurry up and run, because she's about to like get on stage, but she's about to go get this money because she got a text message saying that if she didn't get the money in by midnight tonight, that it was going to go to somebody else. So she's getting ready. I don't know what the fudgesicle was up with Autumn. I don't know if she was feeling her gig, because also when they first pulled up and after Autumn was doing all of them runarounds, Mercedes seen her get out her car and said, bitch, like, you look like you walking with a lot of money. Like, Mercedes been doing this a long time. She can tell people just by their pure body language what the fuck is going on, especially money wise. Bitch, you look like you walking around with 10,000 in your bag, and she had like 9 stacks in her bag. So it's like super confusing. Oh my gosh, y'all, hold on. Fucking fly is pissing me off. But yeah, so anyway, so I don't know if Autumn was feeling herself because she had all this money now or whatever, but she started talking to Mercedes like, oh, you got any tips? And da-da-da-da-da-da. And, oh, bitch, you better see your way out the door. Like, she was just really coming for Mercedes, and it was very confusing as to why. Like, she's being smart as hell, getting all up in her face, and Mercedes didn't have time, or she probably would have laid that bitch the fuck out where she fucking stood. Okay? So then we see Lil Murder. He's sitting over there on the side with his friend, and his friend is just pissed off, I guess, because he's seen what happened to them, pretty much trying to check him. So they're like, bro, now we'll go over there. I'm about to go fuck them up. And he's like, nah, bro, like, chill, let her ride, let her ride, let her ride. And he's like, nah, bro, like, why you acting like that? He's like, acting like what? And pretty much he alluded to the fact, like, you're acting like a punk or whatever. And he was like, don't call me no, he didn't say call him. Before he called him a punk, he pretty much was like, alluded to the fact that everybody know like that you're a punk. Like everybody pretty much know like what goes on between like you and Uncle Clifford, without saying that's pretty much what he said. But he called him a punk. And you know people don't like being called punk, so Lil Murda whooped his ass for real, for real. They threw him the fuck out. So then we get to the actual place. Mercedes pulls up, the realtor's there, and she's like, girl, I'm sorry, it's too late. And she's like, no, my mom's about to be here right now. Like, with that money, what are you talking about? She's like, somebody just bought it. Her mama walked out. As soon as her mama walked out, I said, I guarantee you, I know what happened. And what happened? She used that $20,000 to buy that as a church. I knew it. As soon as I seen her, I said, yo, she used this money and she's going to turn it into a church. That's exactly what it is. Now, let me tell you something. When I seen her, when I heard those words come out of her mouth and everything paused, I said, yo, Mercedes, if I was you, I wouldn't be mad if you beat your mom's ass. And that's what she did. So I was here for, because I would have beat her ass too. Because she said, you stole all my money? And then she just kind of blacked out and whooped her ass. And I would have did the same thing. Bitch, you stole 20 fucking bands. Bitch, technically, I'm out of a fucking job. And you stole all that money because your crazy ass said that you need to be on the pulpit. Are you insanity? Are you insane? Are you insane? And I'm a little bit confused from the businesswoman, from the realtor too, because I don't understand. How is it that a church would bring in more money than what she's doing? I don't know. I'm a little bit confused because churches are a dime a dozen in the South. So I'm just a little bit confused on how that works better business. Whatever. Her mom is crazy as hell. I don't even understand. What was her mama references? How did you take it just because her mom had the money? Because I'm so confused on where was the other references that made you think it was okay to give this building to this crazy ass woman. I just wanted to be understood and explained to me. All right. So then we switch back over to the club and everybody's waiting on Mercedes, you know, because like I said, it's her last dance, but she out there with her mama. So, you know, he goes into the back. Uncle Clifford was about to get dressed himself to start shaking that ass. I know that's right. But Mississippi was like, no, don't worry, I'll do it. I said, bitch, if anybody needs to do it, it needs to be Mississippi. Because if anybody is pretty much almost better than Mercedes, it would be Mississippi. Mississippi take her fine black ass out there and killed that shit. Her ponytail was giving me life. Like, that ponytail was moving around. It was like literally moving with the waves and with the ocean of her motion. Like, you get what I'm saying? She was fucking it up on the pole, and they was throwing so much money was going towards her. Oh my gosh. I don't know if it's symbolizing the fact that she's getting her confidence back, or maybe, you know, maybe she's feeling more confident about herself. I don't know if it's a foreshadowing of maybe Autumn not being that bitch, but maybe Mississippi's gonna be that bitch, which if anybody should be a head bitch, it should be Mississippi, in my humble opinion. Because she's bad as fuck and she'll kill the pole. So I'm not really sure what that was supposed to represent as a whole, but you could see that she felt like really noticed and she felt loved and she felt appreciated. So yeah, so during that whole thing, you know, now when she first comes out, the DJ puts on Lil Murda's song. The song itself was actually decent, especially for her to dance to. It was decent. So mind you, at this point, Lil Murda's already kicked out of the club because of him fighting, but he's sitting kind of like outside. So when he hears the song, he's getting emotional. He's like, that's my song. That's my song. And he had to like calm down. I'm like, it's okay, boo. It's okay to be emotional, because that could be a really big break for you. So shout out to you. All right. So that Uncle Clifford bring his ass outside, and he's like, come on, man, come on. They go into the back, and he tear that little fishnet. Ooh, y'all are nasty. He spit on it. They got a little condom. Thank you for protection. And banged Uncle Clifford's back the fuck out on that jukebox. I said, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Oh my gosh, I love Uncle Clifford and Lil Murda. I really, really do. I think they're so fucking adorable together. They give me my fucking life. But that was this episode, y'all. Y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments. I'm out. Bye.